wrong there. I'll have to check out the pronunciation, but it's good that you've joined us. Beetroot, yeah, it's beta-carotene, is it? Anyway, it's very good for you, and not only does it turn your pee pink, but it helps your blood and it helps you feel all round amazing. And there's lots of different types of beetroot that we have, and you get the red ones, obviously, you get yellow, you get white and red, I think is another lovely one, and you can eat them from a very, very small size, baby beets, or you can let them go a bit bigger, but try not to let your beetroot go too big, because what happens is that after a while, beetroot is a biennial, so in year 1 you're growing it for the root, and that's what we eat, but in year 2 it goes to seed, so it changes its lovely flavours from being sweet to being very woody quite quickly when it starts to change what it's trying to do. So the first year it's creating its own food storage, and in the second year it wants to start going to seed. So if you let your beetroot go too far, that's why it changes from sweet to woody, because it's just doing what it normally wants to do. You got to get in there quicker and eat it before that point. It's kind of sad really, but that's what we have to do. And if any of you ever want to save your beetroot seed, it's really amazing, because what starts out as a little beetroot that we eat ends up growing quite a big tall plant, and you have to tie it up and support it while it's growing its flower and seed heads. We've tried to save seed here, and I don't know if it was that successful. I will know as soon as germination happens this year, but I think that our problem again is getting them dry enough at seed stage. So in terms of your beetroot, you can eat every part of the beetroot as well. You can eat the leaves, and you can eat the leaves when they're young, so don't go on and strip the whole plant, but you can have a nibble of a few little leaves from the beetroot, and very tasty. They're related to the chard, yeah, the beet, related to spinach and chard, and they're very tasty, so they make a lovely addition to a salad. And then the root itself, obviously, you can eat. So all parts of the beetroot can be eaten. But if you do want to let it go to the root part, the actual beetroot part, don't strip all the leaves away, because they need to photosynthesize to be able to keep going. When you are sowing beetroot seed, a little interesting fact is that each seed is actually a cluster of a few beetroot seeds. So you do get types called mono, which means just the one, but most of our beetroots are a cluster of seed. I'm gonna try and see how where's the camera? Oh, I've been looking at the wrong thing all this time. There's the camera there. There you are. I was looking over here. Okay, so that's the beetroot seed, and you can see it's a cluster of little tiny seeds. So when you sow your beetroot, a few come up. I sow them in trays indoors. It always tells us to sow direct, but what was happening was that every time I tried to grow direct them here, they were getting eaten by slugs at that young stage. So I sow them now into trays, and I find that works much better. But when we grow them, you might get a little cluster of seeds of the plants coming up. That's all right. Don't worry about separating them out, because as the beetroot grows, there'll be 2 or 3, and they'll just sit happily next to each other, and they'll just gently push each other apart. So don't worry about that happening. You don't have to separate them, but if you're doing them in modules, I try and get one of the seeds, which is a cluster of seeds, into each cell, and then that allows me to gently, because they're a root vegetable, you don't want to damage the roots too much when you're transplanting them. So I'll do the same with beetroot. I've sown them indoors here now. I'm just going to check the dates. The 8th, no, that's not. the 8th of February. So the 8th of February, and they're up now. They've got their first seed leaves. My goodness, it's so hot here today. And can you see that all right? They've got their first seed leaves. So I'm just waiting to see their true leaves, not their first seed leaves. They only get one set of seed leaves. And then we have to wait for their true leaves to happen. Once that happens, then I'll put them outside. I also check what the roots are doing underneath, and they're not poking out the bottom yet. So that's all right. We've plenty of time. I'll just check for some slugs while I'm at it. Nope. Okay. Oh, jeekers, I broke a stick. I'll have to replace that. Okay, so, but what I'll do is, once the roots start to poke through the bottom, and once I get the true leaves happening, then I'll start to harden them off again, just like I said earlier, in and out for about a week, and then get them into the soil. So we're talking about I'd say another 10 days before I'll be doing that. And then even at that, because it's before the last frost dates, I'll be covering over with fleece. I probably will plant half of these outside, half of these in the polytunnel. Again, just to take that insurance policy out with the weather. So I'll do half of them in the polytunnel, half of them in the outside. What's the best to grow here in Donegal? Yeah, there's like beetroot's not a difficult. The varieties of beetroot, anything that I've tried before has worked out quite well. It's just really depends. Yeah, like you can try a good few different ones. The ones that I'm growing this year, early wonder beetroot, which is smooth dark red skin, deep red flesh, glossy leaves, which makes good greens. And it has staggered maturity, so a single sowing can be harvested over a long period of time. That means that they mature at different rates themselves, so that I don't have to be worried about successive sowing, although we do successive sowing anyway, just to make sure that we have lots of beetroot on hand all year round. The other one that I love, Alvaro Mono, that was the type that I liked, and it was just the one beetroot. That was a lovely one. And then Salandra, which grows like a carrot. So if you don't like the whole hassle of preparing beetroot, because it does stain obviously, you can do the Salandra ones, which grow like carrots. So don't worry too much about the varieties for here. They mostly all, I've never had a problem with the variety. So have a go at whatever you can. And the stripe ones are they have a funny name, Chiogia. When you read from books, it's always hard to work out the pronunciation of all of this. But Chiogga or something. But that's the stripe ones, and there's lots of different varieties about them as well. So it's nice to have a variation of your beetroots as well. When you're cooking your beetroots, one thing, we love to eat them just raw. Like as I say, the kids love them. The young ones we like to eat raw. But if we're cooking beetroot, what I generally do, once it gets past the golf ball stage, I bring it up into the kitchen. You just chop the greens off and you can use them. But I cut the beetroot in 4, and then I just maybe boil a big pot of that until I can get the knife through. With the skin on. Right, now this is the important part to stop you getting all your red hands. When it's finished boiling, bring it over to the kitchen sink and turn the cold water on and let the cold water fill up so you can put your hand onto it. So let it run for quite a bit. Put your hand into the beetroot, and as you grab each beetroot, the skin will just kind of like come away. When you do that, then you take your hands back out and they're not red. So that's the best way that I found to be able to prepare your beetroot. And then we just let them, like if I serve up a bowl of beetroot of maybe 20 baby beets, they're gone and before the dinner's even started. So they are really tasty for kids. So get the baby beets, the ones that are quite sweet, and the kids will love that. You can also make a beautiful hummus. from your beetroot as well, and we love that. And you can make beetroot pesto also. So there's so many different things that you can do with your beetroot. If anybody watching this has a beetroot recipe, even if you're watching it back and not live, please do share with us your beetroot recipe, and even if you have any photographs of it too, that would be amazing. Now, a final word before I go.